I recently had coffee with a business owner yesterday. He's a Republican business owner here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which those are sometimes tough to find in Ann Arbor. But recently, Trump had a fight with Thomas Massey about the budget, and half of the conservatives are for Thomas Massey, half the conservatives are for Trump. Okay, and the title of this segment is "Trump is President, Not King." And before I get egged and tomatoes thrown at my face, let me tell you what I mean by this. There's a sect of MAGA or a sect of conservatives that don't believe Trump can do any wrong, or at least they're not willing to admit it, or they say it's not helpful to admit it. Whereas I believe if we don't call out wrong things that people do, they don't know what the people are thinking, and you're actually able to call out wrong things that elected officials are doing, and they can still be your guy. Let me give you an example. Let's talk about President Trump, for example, for an instance. President Trump has done a lot of great things, a lot of great things. A lot of the executive orders he signed was great. In fact, I think the State of the Union address that he gave was one of the best State of the Union addresses ever. It was unbelievably well done. He set up the Democrats from the beginning saying, "You won't clap for me." And then he literally brought people in and did things that were so special and meant so much to these people. And the Democrats sat there like a bunch of lazy bums. That was one of the best speech I've seen. Trump nailed it. Trump nailed a lot of his executive orders and the Lincoln-Riley Act and so many good things that he has done. He's already worked on shoring the border with Tom Homan immediately, and he's already done more than Biden did in 4 years, okay? But Trump's not perfect. And I'll give you an example. We have inflation right now, and some of that inflation can be pointed back to stimulus checks, which Joe Biden wrote, right? Kind of. Joe Biden did the second round of stimulus checks. But do you remember the president that did the first round of stimulus checks? You're right. It was Donald Trump. Donald Trump also was the one that was fast-tracking the COVID vaccine. At one point, it was called the Trump vaccine, and there was a video of him getting the vaccine. He was pushing it. At one point, President Trump was pushing the vaccine, pushing to get it through, getting the vaccine on camera, and he was the one that was round one for stimulus checks, and he was the one that was picking fights with all of the governors that, he didn't like. Now, I'm a big Trump fan. The first 3 years of Trump's presidency, loved it, right? Loved it. But I think Trump made mistakes in COVID, and I called him out on it back then. I didn't have a show then, but I called him out on it. He's still my guy. Guess what? I still voted for Trump. And I still would, and I'm grateful that he became president. And he has done an amazing job so far, but he's not perfect. He's made appointments that I don't agree with. He's done certain things that I think are wrong. And my plea and my encouragement to the Republican Party, to conservatives, is that you should encourage disagreement. And if we believe that President Trump did something wrong, it's okay to say that. And he still could be our guy, and we're still rooting for him. But what cannot happen is for us to turn into this yes man party that whatever Donald Trump says, that we just have to magically say, well, I guess he just knows better. That can't happen in our party. So my pledge to you is this. If something happens that you disagree with, talk about it. Be cordial. Say you disagree, and it's okay. If you're on the side of MAGA that believes the Don cannot make any mistakes, I would just encourage you to look at history. No one's perfect. Donald Trump has done a lot of great things for this country. I'm very grateful he got elected president, but he's not perfect. He will make mistakes. And when those mistakes happen, we should call him out on that, ask him to grow and get better as a result. And I think that's the thing when Donald Trump went on Joe Rogan, that was probably the most I respected President Trump, because in that podcast, he admitted to mistakes that he had made and trying to learn from it. And it was probably the most humble conversation I'd ever hear Trump ever say, was the fact that he admitted he made mistakes. He know he made mistakes, and he's trying to do better this time. But the way you make mistakes and the way you learn from your mistakes are people either telling you about it or you learn the hard way because of your actions have consequences. So anyway, what do you guys think about this? Have you guys experienced what I'm talking about? Are you on the side of the MAGA crowd that Trump can't do no wrong? And do you think I'm wrong about this? Or have you experienced where maybe you've criticized something that a conservative or a political party, and by the way, this applies to Democrats too. This applies to you guys too. The left for 4 years gaslit us that Biden was cognitive and didn't have dementia. And turns out he did. For 4 years, every single Democrat should have been saying, no, you guys are lying to us. Stop it. But you didn't, and you fed into the lie, and you called us haters, and fascists are the ones that said, yeah, Joe Biden has dementia. And the left called us fascists because we spoke truth. And if you guys would have spoke truth too, your party might still be in power because they wouldn't have forced Kamala Harris on you guys. So if I was a Democrat, it's the same thing for both parties. A friend of mine always says the Republicans and Democrats, it's just two wings of the same bird. And in some ways, I agree with him. But in other ways, there are things that separates those two wings to make them like one is better than the other, in my opinion. And you might be a Democrat saying, you're right, the left is better. But my point is, both sides, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, in this country, we need to feel the freedom to speak out things that we disagree with while still being able to support that person we disagree with. Let me know what you think about this debate. Let me know what you think about this comment or about this segment in the comments below.